What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to give you kind of a no hype review about the Skyzone Sky02X goggles. Some of the other reviews that I've seen out there are just a little bit hyped up, but we're going to get sober today about the actual goodness of Skyzone goggles. And I'm happy today to talk about Skyzone because Skyzone happens to be my preference over Fatshark. And most of you guys out there might scoff about that, but some of the guys that might scoff about that have probably never owned a pair of Skyzones. So I've been flying Skyzone now for about 3 years, and my original pair is right here. These are the original Sky02S model, and I spray painted them. I used them for different projects. They've been more places than any other pair of goggles in my collection, and I pretty much have just about every goggle out there. This pair of goggles is awesome. It does 4x3 and it also does 16x9, as well as the new ones do. They're not locked into 4.3, which is great, so you can change them if you want to. They also have built-in receivers in here, so all of the Skyzone goggles versus the Fatsharks are right away much less cost than your initial cost for Fatsharks. Is probably going to, for the super nice ones, the HDOs are going to run you $500, then you have to buy modules and antennas, so you're probably looking at $600 to $650 to get a pair of Fatsharks outfitted with the receiver modules. These, you don't have to do that. The nicest thing about Skyzone is the fact that you can take them out of the box, plug in the dipoles that came along with it. These are my preferred antennas of choice. I have the Lollipop 2 on this side, right-hand circular polarized, and the Foxeer 8 dB patch antenna right here. This is a super high dB patch antenna, really nice. You can also use the Real AC C patch right here. This is the triple feed patch, and a lot of people love this one. It sticks way out off your head, but I don't have it on there for right now because it blocks a lot of the view for you guys. But this is also a really great antenna and fairly cheap too. It's one of the best kept secrets out there. So with all that said, this really is probably the best value and the easiest way to get started with FPV out there. People send me messages all the time and they say, hey Justin, I'm just getting into FPV, what goggles should I get? And I always tell them to get the Sky02s. The Sky02s have never failed me. The DVR works great. It records down to MPEG format, which works on my Mac or PC. And the new ones are switchable as well. You can switch it from AVI to MPEG for your recorded DVR file. Now, what's also cool about this is that they do firmware updates on these as well. So you can use a micro SD card to pop in the bottom right here, and you can do firmware updates from the Skyzone websites. They do have bin files. All you have to do is start up your goggles, and once you turn them on, they start to auto update, which is a really nice feature. Now, if you look on the left-hand side right here, you have your antenna receiver port right there. You're just going to screw that on, and you have your record button, your modes button right here, and that's just going to switch basically from your 2D mode over to the 3D mode. This one also does have head tracking on here as well. If you want to do some move your head turn FPV style stuff, you can look left and right, and if you have a servo gimbal set up on your plane, a fixed wing, or even multi-rotor, you can look left and right in your FPV view. It's pretty cool. So it moves around with your head. If you don't know what head tracking is, now you know. It also has an auto search button right here. On the left-hand side, it says track, and I believe this was the camera button. If you push this, it opens up the camera in the front and also brings you back. Now, other modes on here are AV mode in and AV mode out, as well as HDMI mode on here, and you have a micro HDMI port on the very bottom right here. This one right here, actually a little bit bigger this time, so it's a mid-size HDMI port. Used to be a smaller one on the other one. Let's see, the older pair right here have the smaller HDMI out, and we have HDMI in right here on this one as well. So this is now HDMI in. It doesn't say it on the new ones. The Sky02X doesn't say it, but the Sky03s do say HDMI in. And also on this side, you have your extra diversity port over here. I usually put my patch on the right-hand side, and you have your spot for bands and channels right here. You have up to 48 channels to choose from. And what's really nice about that, inside the binocular view right here, you do have IPD adjustment on the very bottom. But what I really like about this pair of Skyzone is that inside the display here, they show you your battery telemetry on the screen, and they show you that you're recording. So if you momentarily press twice the record button, the recording will start, and it shows you up at the top of your display momentarily and then disappears. It also shows you your band and your channel inside here, which is a really nice feature. If you're trying to tell someone what channel you're on really quickly, you don't have to take your goggles off and look at your module in the front. It shows you on the screens. And also the interpupillary distance adjustments on the bottom. This is just brings it into focus for each of your eyes. These help you to adjust and bring into focus all the top and left and bottom and right hand sides of the screen. And the nice thing about this is the fact that this particular pair of goggles does not, for me, have any blurred edges anywhere in my screen view. Some of the other goggles out there that I've had, even my Fatsharks and even the Sky03s, for me, were a little bit too large in front of my eyes, and what that does is it makes some of the bottom blur out. Your peripheral vision just can't see everything all the way out to the sides, so you can never quite get the IPD adjustment right to be able to see such a large screen. But the distance that they have these screens from your eyes seems to work out really, really nice for me, and everything on the screen is in focus. Now over on the right hand side, we've got that HDMI in right there, the AV in, we have USB right there, and we have an AV out right there, and we have the micro SD card slot. You can do a class 10 micro SD card, I believe up to about 64 gigabytes. I've also used a 128 just to test it for you guys, and the 128 gigabyte card also did work. And lastly, you have your headphone port right there. And over here on this side, if you press and hold this power button right here, that's going to start up your goggles. You will see the Skyzone logo load up first, and then it will come into your FPV view, and you'll have to switch channels up here to find which channel your quad is on. But over here we have the DC port, and it's really great because they give you a super long cable with an XT60 connector on it, and you can connect a 3 or a 4S battery on here because we do have a nice voltage range for DCN right here. We have 7 to 26 volts. And this is the power cable that comes along with it. It's like 4 feet long, which is super great because it goes from your head, and you can have your 4S 1300 battery plug in and have that in your pocket. It takes a lot of weight off your head, which I really like, because who wants to wear a giant battery on their forehead? So you can plug in the port right here, and then you can plug in the XT60. And once you have that, they do not come on right away, so you have to press and hold your power button. And one thing I did notice, that the fan was a little bit loud on these goggles, and it's a little bit distracting when you're flying. If you don't need the fan and they're not fogging up on you, I suggest pressing the power button again, and let's see if we can hear that fan. I'll bring it over here so you guys can hear it. And I have it on low right now, so I'm just going to turn it off by pressing this power button right here one time. And now they're off, and everything is quiet. They also appear to have removable diopters, which means that if you do wear glasses, you're likely to be able to have diopters made for these. If you contact I believe there's a company in Germany that will make specialized diopters for a different brand, Fatshark and Skyzone goggles out there. Just Google FPV diopters on Google and type in Germany after that. You should be able to find that company. I believe it takes around a month to get them, but it's a super nice thing. If you know that you need specialized diopters and you know the numbers for your prescription, you can just enter those in on their website and order yourself a specialized pair so that you can see properly. And speaking of being able to see correctly, they do have a nice LCD screen inside. They are 854 pixels by 480, and they have about a 30-degree diagonal field of view. One other thing that I did notice about this set right away is that these fit me way better around my face and didn't have a lot of light leaks like my Sky03s had. They had an issue with the width of the Sky03. They made them just a little bit too wide, so they had to have little pieces of plastic put in here, and I just cut some other pieces of foam and stuck in here so that it would push it closer to my face. It's still not perfect, and I have to kind of pinch them back every time I put these on, but that was one issue they had with the Sky03. So if you have a really big head, then I would definitely suggest going for the Sky03. If you think that you have a smaller head or an average size head, you'll be just fine with the Sky02X. So now I'll just show you what came in my case right here. This is the goggles case itself. It has kind of a nice exterior on here. It's sort of a plasticky, super durable exterior with a nice zipper. You have a carabiner on the back right here in case you want to clip it to your belt or something else maybe on your FPV bag. Open those up. It has sort of a soft interior to protect your goggles. An extra piece of foam is in the box, which is super cool. Your cable, which is great because it's about 4 feet long with that sort of DC port one side and your XT60 on that side. You get a composite cable, and you also get a head tracking cable in here, as well as your, this is the Futaba, no, this is the JR data cable right here. So I'm not sure what that is. I've never used that. And you get your 2 antennas right here. So if you want to start out with these antennas, they are totally fine for maybe a football field or two. But really, these are a lot of antennas that people just put to the side. So get yourself some nice Foxier antennas and go ahead and upgrade those, or the real ACC antennas. I'll try to put both those links down below for you guys. So finally, we're getting down to the Skyzone evolution, and you're looking at it right here. The Sky02s, the Sky03s, and now the new Sky02X. They also have another version of this one available called the Sky02C, and basically that one is a little more of a budget model. It does not have the front-facing camera on there, and it does not have the head tracking option. So if you don't need both of those, which most of us probably don't, I've only used this camera in the front a few times when someone came up to talk to me. I turn it on and they don't even know that I'm looking at them. So that's kind of a neat option to have, but honestly you probably don't need it. So save yourself the extra money and buy yourself a nice set of antennas for your Sky02Xs. And I was pretty excited to see that Skyzone was coming out with the Sky02Xs because they made a lot of changes. They added some nice exterior on this one. They also have like 7 different colors available on this. I really wanted the space ones. So at Banggood or Race Day Quads, somebody send me the space ones. I'd really like to have those. But I've got this sort of Iron Man red, and these are pretty cool looking. A big change from what I have here in the previous versions. But they did add the fan on top of the Sky02X version, which I like because I didn't have it on these last year, and we had a lot of wildfires, and a lot of moisture last summer was affecting my flying. So when I'd start to sweat, my screens would fog up, and I had no fan on the Sky02s. So if you live somewhere where it's not super hot, you'll probably be fine with these. But if you live in a hotter climate, I would definitely get the ones with the fan and the adjustable speeds. But hopefully you guys like this review and an honest opinion about it with actually about 3 years worth of experience flying Skyzone goggles and 0 cheerleading in this review. I'll leave you guys now with a little bit of footage recorded from the DVR on the Skyzone 02Xs, and you guys can check out what the DVR looks like for yourself. Guys, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.